A beautiful day here for main training before the boys fly out to Adelaide. You can see here Lockie Schultz is doing some running around the boundary. You can also see, if you look closely at those yellow cones, that's the width of the Adelaide Oval. So as they're training, they've made the AOA Centre a little bit narrower to mimic Adelaide Oval, and it is going to be crazy. But that's actually a really, really cool idea. I don't think I've ever seen us do that before, albeit I never went to training last year. So it could be a new thing, could be an old thing, but it's a really good idea. So there were the usual suspects out, but it was really good seeing Tom Mitchell have a run around with the main squad. Didn't do any match sim, but it was nice just to see him out and about. Then he did rehab for the second half of training. There were also some NGA prospects there, and father-sons. Tom McGuan was there, Oscar Loney was there, and McCarthy was there as well. So those three players we'll be looking at the draft at the end of the year. On Monday, I said that the pies looked like a daisical, and that was my big word for the year. Never used it before, but they did look a little bit lethargic, just going through the motions. But this training session, they really came out firing, and it was a really, really good hit out, especially in the match sim a little bit later on. Because of the narrower dimensions of the oval, they weren't hugging the boundary as much as they usually do. They were trying to get into the middle, as you can see here, as often as they could, which makes sense. You know, you're trying to run and gun. Sydney do well with sort of pressing, and you're trying to run out from half back, which is what they were practicing a lot of, just really high pressure situations as well.
Training every day. How do I make it live? No, interview. That makes a difference. Open up the contrast and the brightness. See, I have mine. I have mine contrast wide open. Wide open.
Now, you know, we always look for the black and white jerseys, and I say this every single time, but there was just an entire mix-up. Like, people were wearing the white jerseys where you know that they're going to be in. A couple of players that look like they will be playing. Will Hoskinelli, we talked about, Ed Allen. Lockie Sullivan had a really, really good session. So I think those three players come in. I was hearing whispers of possibly TJ playing. Kind of yelled out to him at the end. I was like, oh, are you playing this weekend? He goes, oh, probably not. So I don't know if those whispers are true or just, you know, they're just looking at him. But the main question is who comes in for Houston off half-back. We kind of talked about it a little bit, but it looks like it's Will Hoskinelli, Ed Allen, and Lockie Sullivan. Obviously, things can change by tomorrow night. I'm always looking for standouts, like who stood out the most to me at training, who didn't stand out. One player that stood out a lot was Ned Long. Really impressed with what he brought to training today, really impressed with what he's doing throughout the season. We know that he's probably going to be, or not probably, definitely going to be in the main 22, like what Craig McRae said in his presser last week. One player that I didn't see a lot of, and I thought he wasn't training, was Bobby Hill. Now, I don't know if that was because I just had a bad position on the ground and he was training on the other end, but didn't see a lot of him. But, he just needs to fire up a little bit, but so do most of our players, like Bo McCreary, Jamie Elliott, Isaac Quayle. They've all been a little bit down through the start of the season. So hopefully, Sydney and an away trip just reinvigorates them a little bit. With Match Sim, it was pretty much scenario simulation, just coming out of half-back, like I said, trying not to hug the boundary too much, going inboard when we can, and then it was Chaos Ball. They love the Chaos Ball because I think we're going to get a lot of that against Sydney because of their press. That's what, they did with the Kangaroos. I'll talk a little bit more about that in my preview that comes out later tonight. We talk a lot about, train like you want to play, right? And Monday we didn't see a lot of it, so I was really, really pleased, like I said earlier, that we pushed through and just had a really good session today. Lots of talk. There was a lot of talk, which you absolutely love to see and love to hear, because you can't really see talk, but you love to hear the talk. So all the leaders were getting around it. Scott Penderbury had a good session as well. Jeremy Howe, he was just yelling and stuff, so it was good to see the big guys get around. Will Hayes, I don't know what's going on. He was in rehab for most of the session. Towards the end of the session, which only went for about an hour and a half or so, or maybe just close to 2 hours, lots of practicing like this, like you see with the defenders and the rucks and stuff. Lots of goal kicking. It was absolutely packed with kids because it is school holiday, so that was really nice to see some of the boys going up and signing, stuff like that. But again, lots of goal kicking training. The thing with the goal kicking training was they weren't kicking goals, so we might be in for another session. But that is pretty much it. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until then, double shackers, I'll swoop you later.